Hello, everybody. Good morning. It is bright and early here in Eugene, Oregon, on the West Coast. I am Lisa Payton. I am an AI marketer, first and foremost, and I am also an AI professor at the University of Oregon. I teach AI for communications, and I'm super excited today to be teaching you how to use large language models and AI to help with your targeting. So this is part of a process called STP, segmenting, targeting, and positioning. It is essential for any effective marketing strategy. And what we're really trying to do today is leverage large language models to help us prioritize and determine what are going to be the most profitable target segments that we can kind of reach out to, that we can leverage to help meet our company's objectives. Yeah. And there are a few ways. What we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to use my meta prompting. I'm going to use Claude, which is one of my favorite large language models, to help me write a very detailed prompt template. And then we're going to go ahead and test that template across 3 different large language models. I like to have at least three, you could do as many as you like, different large language models provide their analysis, because it's like having 3 strategic advisors at the table. 3 heads are definitely better than 1 when it comes to these models. It will also help us determine if there are any trends or themes that we want to pay attention to during our work. So let's get started. A few things. If you may be coming into this with a very clearly defined market analysis with market segments. Great. And you can start there. If you don't know really much about how your market is segmented or need some help with that, you can look at the first video that I did in this series that is all about segmentation. So large language models can absolutely help us segment. There's a really great video that will walk you through that. So you may want to start there if you don't already have segments that you're bringing to the table. Okay, so once we have a kind of analysis of the possible segments that we can go after, we're asking AI to help us prioritize these. And here is my initial meta prompt that I put into Claude to get my final prompt template. Write a generative AI prompt to help me select target segments for my client's business. Take into account segment characteristics such as segment size, growth rate, and profitability, along with competition and my client's company objectives, competencies, and resources. I will share a link to my client's website that will provide an overview of their offerings along with a list of their current target segments. I want each large language model to rank these segments in order of priority based upon the profitability of driving revenue growth for the company, including the reasoning on why it made the selections. I also want to see the data used to make the selection so I can ensure it's accurate. I would like the large language model to also include a section on new segments that we may have overlooked. So that sounds like a lot of words. And in this post, you will be able to copy and paste that, but really you don't even need that, because the outcome of that beautiful prompt is this. It is a final prompt template here that I've crafted for you that you can plug and play that basically does exactly what we asked it to do. It's going to take the information from the website. There's a place for you to add your company objectives, the core competencies, and the available resources. These can be estimates, right? You don't have to overthink these. And you, in fact, could even say, hey, I don't have that information, and still get some very interesting results. So what we do now is we take this prompt and we're going to hop on over to just copy and paste it once you get the details filled in. And I've tested this in 3 different large language models here, starting with ChatGPT. I typically do start with ChatGPT first. I will also say that all of my accounts are the pro version because I want access to the latest and greatest, the very best model that is out there. Okay. So this was the ranking that ChatGPT for Omni gave me. Virtual event planners being number 1. Let's hop on over to Gemini Advanced here. In terms of what they provided, they gave me virtual event planners as number 1. And then, you guys, this is really exciting. I am also giving you a sneak peek to Amazon Nova. So if this is brand new out of the gate, Nova Pro, which is Amazon's new large language model that they just dropped. I am using that today so we could see a kind of a sneak peek behind the hood here. I have entered my prompt. I needed to make sure that I adjust my response length for this tool to make sure that it's going to have enough characters to give me what I need. And their ranking starts with event planners and then virtual event planners. So when we look across these, virtual event planners, virtual event planners, virtual event. So, the theme here is virtual event planners and event planners are coming up pretty consistently at the top. So, okay, cool. Let's kind of take that into consideration. The prompt has us also looking at, I love asking this question, what are some untapped segments, right? We have the obvious segments, but what are some that may not be so obvious where you think there's going to be some really good opportunity? And you can see here that good old Amazon Nova gave us a couple: corporate training and development. It also explains why it thinks that would be a good segment. Online education and webinars, and then virtual conferences and trade shows. So 3 kind of untapped segments that maybe weren't mentioned above that they think he, she, whatever we call, they, I guess is the term we call our AI machine. You might have a name for it. I have a name for most of mine. So let's take a look at what Gemini has to say about untapped segments. So they came back with educational institutions, nonprofit organizations, and then SMBs. So, let's look one more. Let's look at ChatGPT and see if we can find any trends here. Educational institutions is also on the ChatGPT list, healthcare sector, and corporate training. So, are we seeing a trend? I think we are, right? It's so fascinating. So what I would do with this information, I would do a little bit more. I could do some follow-ups, and then I could present a nice, holistic, integrated recommendation or strategic plan for my client that takes all of this into consideration. Keep in mind that all of this was done in 2 minutes, right? So this type of work used to take weeks and weeks to find all of this, and we're literally getting it within minutes. So this isn't to say that I would deliver this as is. You could, of course, but what I would like to do is take this, add my expertise, add my knowledge of the client that I've been working with, and then provide a nice, holistic, well thought out plan that, of course, cites the sources that I've used to create it. Now, here's where it gets spicy. This is our little extra. What I went ahead and what I wanted to know after I got all this great information from these 3 large language models was I wanted them to say, based upon all the information, all of their untapped segments, all of it, to provide basically a plan. Give me a small plan, prioritizing a few of these segments and a positioning statement, and kind of really roll it together into something that's executable and actionable, right? So to do that, I went ahead back to Claude and asked it to write that follow-up prompt for me, right? Just in very simple language. Please craft a follow-up prompt that, basically does what I just said. And it did. It did that. So here it is, my follow-up prompt. Again, I will have all this pasted for you. Based on the segment analysis provided, please create a targeting and positioning strategy. Recommend 1 to 2 priority target segments, blah, blah, blah. Go to market plan, blah, blah, blah. All right. So let's see. I pulled the lever, and here's what we got. So the priority target segments that ChatGPT opted to choose here were virtual event planners and corporate training and meetings. And it went forward and drew out an entire plan with pain points, messaging, positioning here. You can see it's really interesting all the way through to go to market for each of those segments. Really compelling. It gave me success metrics here. I mean, really, this is kind of strategy in a box. Again, would I deliver this as is? No, I would not. I would take this along with what the results I got from potentially Gemini. So let's see what did Gemini have to say. It also chose virtual event planners, and it chose down here educational institutions as the 2 prioritized segments. It again talks me through why. And then if we head on over to Amazon Nova here, it chose event planners and virtual event planners. Yeah. And it walks us through the channel strategy, marketing tactics and budget, timeline, success metrics, with some, I love this, specific actionable recommendations that it throws in at the end. So some really, really good stuff here. I'm really impressed actually by all three of these language models. I think, it's up to you, and for your industry and for your client, you may determine that one maybe was more valuable than another. But I do love this approach of taking kind of and combining the results into one holistic report. I think that provides the most value for the client. Okay, listen, we are at 10 minutes. So I wanted to thank all of you for being here and watching this. I know this is fast and furious. Hopefully you've appreciated a peek behind the hood at Amazon's latest entry into this mad, wild AI, place that we are in, the AI era. And it's been a pleasure. If you have any questions, hit me up on LinkedIn. I am here to help.